Hey folks, I'm Big Sam and I've done it the wrong way for a long, long time. Uh, a couple of weeks ago, I got asked to lead the devotional for our Tuesday night small group. And Amy gave me the topic. So if you like it, she nailed it. If you don't like it, it's all her fault. If you like it, I'm the smart guy for agreeing with my wife, right? Uh, my wife is in the studio with me. She just rolled her eyes. We've been married 32 years. If I had a dollar for every eye roll, I probably wouldn't be doing this podcast. I mean, no. Okay, never. Wait, squirrel. So, and then when I got done with writing this and got done delivering it, I thought, man, that'll make a podcast. So here we are. We're gonna take what I gave. A group of folks. And by the way, shout out to my Tuesday night. The small group is called Fat Tuesday, which I fit right in. But it's really neat. We get together, we share a meal. We go find a restaurant that'll have us, and we have a devotional. So we get our spirits filled. We get our bellies full, and we get just community. So if you're not involved in a small group, get involved in one. If you can't find one, send me an email, send me a text. We'll find one for you. So I get to share this podcast with y'all, or share my devotional that I did the other night with y'all. So if you're in my Tuesday night group, here you go again. Have you ever been in a situation where nothing made sense? Like you're doing the right things, doing your best, and life still throws you a curveball, throws you a gut punch. Me too. Those of you that know my story know where I'm going to head with this. This is where this verse hits home. It's Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. So, and I'm going to pause right here for just a second. There's been kind of especially being new to this podcast, being new to this space, the question is this a Christian-based or faith-based podcast? Is this just going to be preaching? Is this just going to be Bible studies? Is this going to be what? Don't know. What I can tell you is I am a Christian. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. As a believer, I'm going to talk about things that I know. If you want me to talk about NASCAR racing, I can do that. If you want to talk about woodworking, I can do a little bit of that. You want to talk balloon twisting, I can talk about that. If you want to talk about the Bible, I'm not as good at it as some of those other things, but this is who I am. So this is what we're going to bring to the table. It's leadership, personal development. It will be faith-based just because I'm a believer in Christ. So, and hope that clarifies where we're headed with this. Will we be bringing Bible verses every week? Probably not. We're going to talk about what God's done for me, probably. So just kind of give you an idea of where we are there, and hope you join along for the ride. Okay. So trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not unto your own understanding, in all your ways submit to Him. And I've heard that written, in different versions. That in all your ways acknowledge Him. Submit to Him hits a little bit harder, doesn't it, folks? He'll make your path straight. So we're going to break that down. Trust isn't partial. It doesn't say in some of your ways, all of your ways, submit to Him. Not just when it's convenient, not when things are going your way. Believe me, it's easy to say I'm a Christian. It's easy to follow God when everything's going right. When you get that gut punch, when you get that phone call that says, "Hey, there's been a car accident and you need to get to the hospital," when you get that call to your boss's office and he says, "Hey, it just ain't working out," that's when you got to submit to him. So all your heart, and that's tough because I want to be in control. And if you're like me, and if you're a type A like me, you want to be in control. You want to be in, or if you don't want to be in control, you want to be of the situation. You want to get to choose who is in control, and whether that's a boss, a leader, a spouse, whatever. But the word there says He's in control. In all your ways, submit to Him. So it's hard. We like control. We want the plan. We want the outcome. We want to choose where it's headed. We want to know how it's going. But real trust says, God, I don't even understand it, but I still believe you got it. Say it again. Real trust says, God, I don't understand this, but I believe you got it. And sometimes that's all the faith you need for a situation. And I'm going to go case in point. 4 different times I've been in the hospital praying, and 4 different times, all 4 times, I got what seemed like an audible answer of what's going to happen. Uh, all 4 times, I chose to trust what God told me. And we'll come back to those in a minute. So think about those. We'll come back. So our understanding of situations has limits. We have a finite mind, but we serve an infinite God. What I learned in those moments, uh, my understanding's got limits. We think we've got it all figured out, but our view is so small compared to God's. He created the universe. I can barely create a podcast. Okay, he's way bigger than I am, and it's cool. I love the verse where he talks about he measured the universe by the span of his hand, and I actually for years I thought, well, he measured. In other words, the universe is that big. No, when you translate it down, he laid it out by the spans of his hand. He went, that's where them planets are going. That's where them planets are going. That's where, okay. And he laid it out that way. I use a tape measure, a square, and a pencil. And I have a hard time laying things out. You can see the backdrop behind me. It's kind of crooked. God laid out the universe by the spans of his hand. Think of how cool that is. Yeah, we think we've got it figured out. He's got the big picture. You see the problem. God sees the purpose. Sometimes what you feel is a setback is just his protection. Think about that. How many times have you seen where something didn't work out like it was supposed to, but it worked out like it was supposed to? You didn't think it was right at the time, but when you went through it, you came out the other side. It's like, oh, that's how that's supposed to work. Sometimes what feels like failure is just redirection. I've experienced that recently in my career, where things didn't work like I was supposed to, but they worked exactly like they were supposed to. If you only trust what you understand, you're going to miss what God's doing. If you sit back, when you get in those bad situations and you sit back and go, man, look what God's doing here. How cool is this? So submit in all your ways, not just in church, not just when things are going bad or when things are going good. Everything, your job, your family, uh, your kids, your spouse. When things aren't going like you're supposed to, you go, hey, God, you got this. I don't. You've got my spouse in your hands. You've got that child of mine that's not acting like they should. That child of mine that, and we'll talk about it in a minute, that's laying in a hospital bed. It's all yours, God. I got nothing. Your decisions. I've said it a few times. I was faced with a career choice here a while back. And when I was made an offer, I told the guy making me the offer, I'm going to do 3 things with this. I'm going to pray about it first. Then I'm going to talk about it with Miss Amy. Then I'm going to talk about it with my small group. First thing, hey, God, what you got here? Are you in this, or does it just seem like it because it's what I want? And that decision came pretty easy for me because he told me what I wanted, what he wanted. He made it perfectly clear what I was supposed to do. Your attitude. This is a tough one for me sometimes. I think it's not going my way, so I gotta do things my way. When I think it's not going my way, I get a little redneck sometimes, and I've learned to go, okay, God, keep your hand over my mouth, control my attitude, show me the right side of this. So submitting doesn't mean you stop thinking. It just means you stop trying to control everything. It's saying, God, I'll do my part. Because when you give control over to God, sometimes you still got to work. I've heard it's a cliche, but there's so much truth in it. Pray like it's all up to God. Work like it's all up to you. God, I'm gonna do my part, but I'll trust you with the outcome. And while you're trusting, listen to the Holy Spirit. Work. Faith isn't sitting still, it's moving forward with trust. So back to those hospital moments. And There's 4 different times, and like I'm sitting here, I can tell you the thought process, and completely in tune with God through the Holy Spirit. The first one, and y'all know my story, was in the hospital room of my 13-year-old daughter. My beautiful wife sitting right beside me, and doctors are going, "This ain't good." She'd been in a car accident. And I'm on my knees, and God audibly said, "I want you on your knees." A little weird, but okay. Yeah, I mean, this is 18 years ago. As a believer, it was a little awkward for me then, but I'm on my knees at Children's Hospital. And I am simply, "Hey, God, I got nothing here. I don't know how to pray about this because I don't know what the outcomes are, can be. Uh, a lot of outcomes, and some of them aren't good." And almost audibly, God said, "She's coming with me. I'm going to take her." But, and here's where faith comes into play. And by the way, I've heard the views on faith, and some of you will disagree with me on this, and that's fine. Is, well, if I'd had enough faith, she would have got up and walked out of the hospital room. No, sorry. Could that have happened? Yes, absolutely. Could God have chosen to do that? Absolutely. God said, "I'm going to take her and I'm going to carry you through it," meaning me and my wife, who was sitting again right beside me. My faith was that God was going to do what he said he'd do, that it was all for his glory, that he had the big picture, and that he was going to walk us through this. God did not let me down. He walked us through that. The second time, a year and a half later, a couple of miles away from there, different hospital, my dad had had a massive heart attack. And the doctors basically said, we're going to back him off the heart pump in a couple of days. Y'all might want to start making some arrangements. Y'all start thinking about, what's going to happen here. The doctors did not have a good outlook. I'm standing there and heard the same thing. Get on your knees, pray about this. Okay, God, I'm on my knees. Almost audible, God said, "This one's going to be okay." And I was like, "Really? I heard what the doctor said. It ain't that good." No, this one's going to be okay. I had 7 more years with my dad. My dad got saved during that time. Go back a few episodes and watch and listen to the one about my dad. Such a great, great time. I do remember uh, less than 4 weeks after that moment, I called him because I hadn't heard from him in about a week. I was like, and it's awful commotion. I go, "Dad, what are you doing?" He goes, "I'm trying to get from my walker onto this little buggy at Walmart in Tampa." What? And my dad was already on vacation. I said, "Dad, did your doctor tell you go to Tampa?" He goes, "No, I didn't ask him. I'm a grown man." God said he was going to be okay, and he did. The third time, same thing. I'm on my knees beside my dad's bed at the hospital 7 years later. And God said, "He's with me." And I'm like, "All right, I can take that." Because we almost lost him before. And if we'd lost him before, he wouldn't have been with God. So the fact that God was gone, or that Dad was gone and he was with God, I had a good peace about that. And then God said, "Oh, and by the way, you're going to preach his funeral." I'm going to, what? So I stood and I did my dad's eulogy. It's one of the coolest things I ever got to do, because I got to tell a whole bunch of people how about my dad. And then, of course, I got to do that a few weeks ago, at this space. And the last time that this happened, some dear friends of mine, uh, and some of you may know their story, but the mom, the lady calls me up, and we were coworkers, and she said, "My son just coded." They were at the hospital. She said, "My son just coded, and they're trying to revive him." Wow, okay, that's big. Amy and I, because of what we'd been through, got in the car, headed toward the hospital. When we got there, they had revived him. He was on all the life support stuff. Uh, Prognosis wasn't great. He literally had had a heart attack at less than 2 years old. And there was a group of us around. And we're all, about to leave, or, things are settling down. And we're praying. And I could almost hear audibly, This one's going to be okay. And roughly 10 months later, 11 months later, something like that, uh, actually on Christmas Eve, he got a donor heart. And little guy is thriving. So God, God does what he says he'll do. There's a book full of things. So uh, faith, faith isn't God's going to work our plans. Faith is God's going to work his plans in his time. So every single time God did what he said he was going to do. Wasn't how I expected, although it was because he said he'd do it. Believe me, wasn't always what I wanted. You can understand that, but it's exactly what needed to happen for his glory, his purpose. Going back to losing a 13-year-old, I can see over and over and over God's hand in that, how it worked out for his glory. Uh, so here's the truth. Straight paths don't mean easy paths. God never promised easy. He said in this world there will be trouble. Um, he promised direction. He promised clarity. He promised purpose. You might you might still walk through hard seasons. Can't believe I wrote it like that. You will walk through hard seasons, but you won't be wondering. You'll be walking the right road. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil. You'll be walking the right road, and that's better. So here's what I want you to do this week. Pause before you make decisions. Don't do anything crazy in a bad time. Stop overthinking everything. Remember, it ain't about us. He's got this. Trust even when it's unclear. Invite God into your everyday life, not just the big moments. Walk with him constantly. Uh, it's a cliche. It's a joke. Somebody said, "Do you need Jesus to go to heaven?" I need Jesus to go to Walmart. Okay. Uh, and finally, you don't have to understand the path. You just got to trust the one that laid it out. If this helped you, share it with somebody. You know how to share it. Share it, like it. Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook. Get the word out. That's what's going to let us keep doing these. Uh, hopefully this will touch you. Hopefully this will help you. Hopefully this will help you keep moving your needle. Till next time. Thanks.